how's it going, guys? My name is Patrick with the Worship Gear Collective, and this is my 2023 rig rundown. Cue funny music. Boop, 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 boop.
Hey, also, I'm John. Welcome back.
Oh, that's right.
Today.
You can tell this is a highly edited podcast.
We're professionals.
Yeah,
We are
I promise.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess what we'll do is we'll just kind of start with the guitar I'm playing, and then kind of work just through my signal chain from there. So the guitar I'm playing is a Sir Alt T with thornbuckers in it. I'm a big Sir guy. I say that like I have a lot of them. I have just this one, but I love it. It's my baby, and I've had it for quite a few years now, and it's my number one. It's never going anywhere. So yeah, so I go ahead and start right here. The cables I use right now, this is a lava cable, purple. It's one of my favorites. Purple's my favorite color, so
very Hendrix-esque.
Yeah, right. I do not play like Hendrix though. Don't be confused. But it's a lava cable. They sound great. I've always loved them, and I have a couple of them now, and the purple is just my favorite. So from that, I have a Temple audio board, so I'm actually using those modules. So I kind of run direct into like one of the little, it's like the 4 1/4-inch modules in the corner.
Wait. What string did you use?
Oh, yeah, thanks. Okay.
The most important question about
right.
What strings?
I kind of go back and forth. I use D'Addario NYXLs, or I also use the XS strings by D'Addario, 10 to 46s. And picks, I use the Gravity picks. These things are my favorite. Right now, it's currently a JHS one, but these are awesome. Josh Scott, thank you for collaborating to make these. These things are my favorite. So I feel like I need to keep buying JHS pedals every time I lose one, so I can replace it. So
$200 pick.
Right, $200 pick. Yeah, that's right.
And a free pedal.
Right. Yeah. So I use Gravity picks, and like I said, I'm running into like my Temple Audio kind of patch bay, if you will, if you want to call it that. Pretty much right from there. That the first thing that it is hitting is my Jackson Audio Bloom. I use that on the quote-unquote R&B setting, which is that purple mode there. Here's my clean tone. Part of my clean tone is reverb and delay, as well as the Bloom. I use it as an always-on pedal. As much as some people hate always-on compression, I do love it, and it's just really a big shaper of my sound. So here's my clean sound. So part of my sound is I like to do a lot of edge or breakup, so I'm using that compressor a little bit to kind of push my amp a little bit harder, and I'm also using it for a little bit of sustain and just kind of some evening, some smoothing, like some smoothness within like my dynamics. So it kind of smooths things out. That way I can kind of keep my highs and my lows kind of under control and kind of tight, and also emphasize how I want to emphasize them. Right from there, I run right down into my very first gain stage, which is the Greer Amps Lightspeed. I kind of use this as just like a little bit of a push. It's just kind of gives my amp just a tiny bit more, not too much more. So here's my clean tone. Here's the Lightspeed. So, and as you can probably hear, it actually, it adds a little bit more, kind of makes it just a little bit brighter, which I like, because I usually use that just to kind of poke out a little bit more if I want to. Using the edge or breakup thing, I'm already kind of broken up a little bit, and I just kind of try to control that with my picking hand to make sure I'm, if I want to have less breakup, I don't play as hard. If I want a little bit more, I dig in a little bit more. So, the Lightspeed can really do a lot with kind of adding a little bit more brightness to my tone if I want to, as well as just kind of, push me out a little bit more in the mix. So that's kind of how I use that. Running into my next pedal, that is the Brown Amplification Protein. This thing is amazing. It's for those of you who don't know about it, and if you don't, I don't know how you haven't heard about it yet. It is a blues breaker kind of style circuit on the left-hand side, and then it is a Nobels ODR1-ish circuit on the right-hand side. this thing is just amazing. It's kind of one of my go-to pedals for a lot of things. So again, here's my clean tone. And then here is the Brown Amps Protein with the left-hand side, which would be the Blues Breaker. Kind of adds a little bit more fatness to the sound, in my opinion. Makes it sound a bit more thick, which is one of the things I love about it. And then here is the Noble side, right-hand side of the ODR1. That right there, that adds quite a bit more also to it. Like you said, kind of gives it like that fatness. It also has a nice kind of what I call like a mid hump. Kind of helps me poke through a little bit more. I love, and like one of the awesome things with this pedal is it sounds great stacked together. So again, I'll do my clean tone and then I'll kind of put both of them on so you hear what they sound like stacked.
Oh, all the stank face. Oh, you have the stank face cam going on over here.
Right. Yeah. So that's that just is like a huge fat, just distorted sound. And actually, and for me, like the way I hear it is it feels like it just gives me like quite a lot of cut. And if I really want more than that, I'll also throw the light speed on top of it to really push it through. So that's what this sounds like. It'll just sustain for days if I wanted to.
Yeah, that'll go forever.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I use those three. The next step in my chain is the JHS Kilt. If you're into praise and worship music, you know what this pedal is. David Hislop, Bethel Music, like kind of you'll see in John's rig run through how he mentioned it. It's just a kilt. Everybody knows what sound it is. It's based on the Expandora pedal, from what I understand, from what Josh Scott says, and I think I've never had an Expandora, but the kilt just sounds awesome. So here's my clean tone again, and then I'll put the kilt on. I will also do some stacking with that, like you say if I'm playing like I love the way the kilt sounds with like say like Raise a Hallelujah. I'll also throw my Blues Breaker from the Protein on top of that. So it's usually the only thing I really stack with the kilt is the Blues Breaker, or sorry, the Protein blue side. Or I'll maybe occasionally throw on the light speed on top of those two, or just on top of that as well. So moving from there, I'm going to my Lely Mono S volume pedal. This thing is awesome. The sweep of it is just great. I use it, I just use it as a volume pedal, but I don't have to worry about my string breaking or something, anything like that. I've had the original Ernie Ball VPs a long time ago with just like the regular string that have broken quite a few times, and I got tired of dealing with it. And then I ended up getting the Ernie Ball VP tuner pedal, which was much better. Like that Kevlar string just made a huge difference. Never had to replace one. That thing was awesome. I just wanted something a little bit different, so I decided to go with the Lely, and I'm really happy with it. I love it. The Lely has a tuner out, which I'm shooting over to my brand new Walrus Audio Canvas tuner.
Brand new, like yesterday new.
Yeah, like
turned it on for the first time today.
Yeah, like the day it came out, I had to order it, and it's here, and it's pretty sweet. I like it a lot. I'm going to end up using that a lot to kind of like, you because there's in the bypass mode you can put a picture up of whatever you like. So I'm gonna end up using that to like kind of load my set list in there, so I can read through what our set list is and what key we're playing. And I usually try to have all that stuff memorized, but just in case like a big worship night, we're playing like 14 songs or whatever it is, I have something to reference. So yeah. So pretty much from the volume pedal, again, my tuner's in the tuner out, so it's not really part of the chain. So from the volume pedal, I'm starting to hit my wet effects. So the very first thing my signal sees outside of the volume pedal, or after the volume pedal, is the Walrus Audio Juliana, which is a stereo, vibrato, chorus kind of sound, right? So here's my clean. It's a nice, like, wet sounding, just chorus vibrato sound. I kind of run it somewhere right in the middle of those two, and I love it. I think it sounds awesome. Pretty much, and then I also have, which I'll jump into this a little bit more later too, I have a tap tempo running out of my disaster area into the Juliana, so that can receive tempo when I need to send it, or when I need to use it, so it can be on time with whatever song I'm playing or anything like that, right? So running out of that, I go into my Eventide H9. This, pretty much the wet effects, is where I really start to use the disaster area quite a lot. So I have my H9 set up to, transition between different things in the disaster area. So if I just kind of hit my right side button, it is going to go ahead and switch my... Oh, oops, I'm on the wrong preset here, sorry. You have to edit that.
Edit what?
You have to cut. Yeah, edit what?
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Anyways.
Yeah, so with my disaster area, let's just start over. With my disaster area, that is kind of what I'm using to control pretty much anything wet effects. So if I just kind of bank through these right here, I can it's changing my big sky, my timeline, my H9, and it's also sending a tempo, so a MIDI clock, to everything. So it's sending it to the H9 for any sort of time-based effects I'm using in there, whether it's trem or chorus or whatever. It's sending a time to my timeline. It's also sending time to the Juliana. So everything will kind of be synced in whenever I need it to be, right? Based on whatever preset I'm running. So the H9, if you guys don't know what it is, it's pretty sweet. It's like a catch-all for everything. So I use it for octave sounds, so I could have... Tracks pretty well. I'll use it for a chorus sound. I'll use it for trem, phaser. How many of us are actually using phaser in worship music? I don't know, but if we are, I can do it. So that's kind of why I have it. It's just a catch-all for everything. It sounds great. It's got some really, really nice kind of like reverb sounds in it as well. I'm pretty sure I have something set up here for a swell tone. Let me see, just to make sure I'm on the right one. Yep. So if I kind of engage that. So that's kind of like a swell sound that I'll use sometimes, depending on if I'm doing much swelling. So yep, I use the H9 for pretty much anything else I could think of that's not covered in any sort of like regular modulation stuff. Next in the chain is my timeline. Everybody knows what this is. Everybody's seen it a million times, and they've been out forever. So it's just sweet pedal. The delays in it are great. I don't usually run a super high mix where like the repeats are super noticeable unless I feel like I need to. Like it's just a specific kind of song or whatever that I need to have like really noticeable repeats. I'll go ahead and have it up then. My personal taste is to have it a little bit lower, so a little bit like they're not exactly kind of like pinging, they're just kind of blending in with the reverb a little, kind of sitting under it. That's kind of how I like it. Like I said, I will generally kind of run it a little differently if I have to though. especially if the song depends on it. And then the Big Sky, again, it's just another one of those things. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows what it sounds like. It sounds amazing. If you don't have one, I highly recommend one. They're great. And to me, like, the Big Sky is the quintessential praise and worship pedal.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. So I just think they sound great. What I kind of use my disaster area for, again, like I said, setting tempo, it's switching presets. There'll be songs where I have multiple different, how do I say this, presets per song. So say I'm in like the verse of one song or the intro is one thing. I can kind of go ahead and just set up a preset to switch between whatever the next one I need is, right? So like if I have a different preset that I want to use, I can go ahead and switch back and forth to that, and I can have it set, like I said, for like intro, verse, whatever, right? Just switching presets completely as I need to. So that's kind of how I like to run it. Then all of that kind of runs right out into my ACS1. This thing has been awesome. When it first came out, I was a little unsure. I was like, I like it, not sure how much I love it. I had to use the boost setting a lot to get it up to the gain levels that I like to use for like edge of breakup stuff. They just put out a new update with some tone factor IRs in it, so shout out to Tone Factor, David Hislop and Kenyon Reed. The IRs sound incredible. They sound great. And just the update that Walrus did to this is awesome. So it finally has the gain pretty much right where I want it to be. I'm able to get my edge of breakup sound that I like with plenty of clarity that I like. So that's how I run that. I run an AC30 on the right and the Deluxe on the left. I don't really use the Marshall setting too much. I might occasionally from time to time, again, depending on what's needed. I don't have that hooked up to MIDI just because I, for the most part, use just that one setting of the, like I said, the AC30 and then the Deluxe. That's pretty much the only setting I use on it almost all the time. And because I don't use it enough, I don't use other things enough. If I need to, I can just kind of build a preset in there for that other thing and just kind of swap with my, with just a quick, bend over and touch or whatever. So I don't need to really hook that up to my MIDI controller. From there, I kind of run out to my Walrus Audio Canvas Stereo DI. It's awesome. It's it's just a lifesaver to have, in my opinion. I like just having it with me. It's not on my board because I don't have any space. But I bring it with me everywhere I go, everywhere I play, and a lot of people who run like front of house really appreciate just me having my own DI and stuff like that, because it's just a ready to go rig, right from the get go. For power, I'm running the Strymon, a Strymon Zuma and a Strymon Ojai underneath the board. That's powering everything. I have a couple slots left and no other spaces to put anything else, so we'll see what I do with those. But yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. That should be my entire rig rundown. Whatever questions you guys have or like that, please leave them in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. Any questions about my signal chain, anything like that, happy to answer that. And if there's anything else you'd like to see, please just let us know. So go ahead and do all the things, all the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, and just let us know what you want to see in the future.
Hit that bell for notifications.
Yeah, hit the bell for notifications, yeah. So, yeah, and go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Worship Gear Co. And mine is Surdole, S-U-H-R, like my guitar, D-O-L-E, and at John Kroll.
John H. Kroll.
Sure, John H. Kroll. Follow us on Instagram, and like I said, just let us know what you want us to see in the future. Thanks. See ya.